Greetings! Welcome to Nina's World. This podcast provides a short respite from the trials and tribulations of everyday life. We're going to step back in time to the 1950s and 60s. And now, our story. Nina's Summer Adventure. Come down this minute. Nina stretched out on the grass in her side yard. She looked at the clouds meandering along the sky like there was no place special to go. Sometimes, when with her sisters, they tried to find shapes in the clouds, but mostly they only pretended to see a face, a galloping horse, an angel, just to make it fun. Nina's attention turned to a robin flying from a tree, pecking at a bug in the grass, and returning to its perch. Pretty soon, school would begin again, second grade. A new teacher, some of the same kids from last year, but also new kids from the other first grade classes, and that made Nina nervous. But then she remembered the new boy she met last week. She had liked Buddy. He told jokes that made her laugh. He would be in her classroom, and they would be friends. Summer. Nina's gaze went to the mulberry tree, so tall and broad and filled with sour purple berries that stained their fingers and clothes. It was the tree of legends, the tree everyone tried to climb, the tree a brother fell from, the tree that Nina climbed that summer, climbed up, but not down. She let her thoughts roam back to that day. It had seemed so easy to put a foot on that limb, a hand grabbing a branch, pulling up, holding on, keeping on going until Nina heard her mother's voice. "Nina, you come down from that tree right now. If you fall, you'll break your neck. Don't you go any further. Come down now. Please come down now." Nina had been enjoying herself. She imagined being a giant mountain climber, or like Jack and the Beanstalk, or a grizzly bear that had awoken from his hibernation. Hearing her mother's voice, Nina looked down at the tiny people below. Nina saw them through the branches, the ones she had just used to boost herself up the tree, the ones that now seemed shriveled and too far away. Nina felt dizzy, her head like a spinning toy that was slowly coming down to a wobble. One of her sisters started bawling, but Nina didn't know why and didn't know which one it was. The brave, fearless Nina was suddenly imagining her sisters crying at her funeral, saying nice things they had never said to her face, now feeling her knees turn to warm gelatin. Her sisters calling out to her, giving instructions aimed at helping, but only making Nina more petrified, unable to move, unable to think even about her prospective funeral. Nina's mom saw the neighbor's roofing truck across the street, ran, told Mr. Finch what happened, asked for help, trying to minimize the danger, he said. "Usually cats get caught in trees, not little girls. Which one is it?" "Nina, please hurry." "Nina? She's a good girl. A year younger than my Keith. And the last thing we should do is hurry too much. We don't want her to move. We want her to stay put." Nina was trying to decide what to do, how to retrace her steps, how to get down when suddenly a ladder was being placed along one of the fat limbs not so far away. Voices bouncing off Nina's eardrums, the tang of lunch in the back of her throat. The calm voice of her neighbor, just home from work, and summoned by her mother, was there to help. Now he tried to distract Nina from her fears. Nina, you'll never guess what was happening to my old hound dog, Penny, last night. Place your foot right where I'm tapping my hand. Penny, she was a-howling up a storm. Must have smelled a raccoon. That's it. Good girl. Now, move your right hand to this branch. I turned on that back leg, and what do you think I saw? That's it. That's fine. Almost there. I saw a raccoon bigger than Penny, and you know Penny's a big dog. I'm going to put my arm under your shoulders. Is that okay? Then I started to howl up a storm, and I banged the trash cans. I banged those trash can lids. That's it. Take it easy. Easy does it. Mr. Finch lifted Nina next to him on the ladder. Nina, loving to hear stories, asked, What happened next? Is Penny okay? Down a rung or two. Penny, she's fine. Maybe a little rattled from all the excitement. That raccoon was a-running and a-running like a horse in the Kentucky Derby. Went up a tree, fell off a weak branch, and took up off the hill in the house. I don't think we'll ever see him again. Mrs. Finch came over to the yard, asked how things were going, asked what was happening. Mr. Finch stood on the ground, placed Nina next to him. Ah, she's all right, honey. She's all right. There you go, Miss Nina. Don't you act like that old raccoon, and don't you go running up any more trees. Nina was surrounded by her mom and sisters, hugging her, patting her on the back as Mr. Finch secured his ladder and started for home. Nina broke away, followed by her family, and ran to Mr. Finch, now hugging him, her mother with a catch in her throat, saying, Thank you, Mr. Finch. Thank God you arrived home when you did. I didn't know what I would have done, except I don't know what I would have done. Mrs. Finch chiming in, It's all right now. No harm done. You can stop worrying. Mr. Finch, his right arm around the rungs of the ladder, lifted it and carried it like a backpack across the street and replaced it on his truck. Went into the house for a hot supper that he knew would be ready very soon. That had been midsummer, when Nina was still like a first grader. But now that second grade was around the corner, Nina had responsibilities to consider and more clouds that needed naming. The end. Thank you for visiting with us today. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to this podcast and share it with everyone you know. Return next week for another story from Nina's World. This story was written and read by Christine McKee, with gratitude to Dr. Ethel Racken of Bucks County Community College for editorial consultation and encouragement. Additional heartfelt support from family, friends, and members of my writing groups. Technical support was provided by Mr. Dan Tarrant of Personally Catholic. Sound engineering by Mr. Andrew Kimlock of AK Productions. May you embrace peace in your heart, in your home, and in your world.